Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here today. We're going to take a look here at Fantom, which is a request from one of my community members. Thank you so much for requesting that I cover this here today. Now, moving forward, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. If you're new to the channel, my goal is to help you become more of an effective trader. I have a trading community as well, link in the description below. Check that out in your own time. I send out signals for every single trade that I take. Now, moving forward here with Bitcoin, we always look at that first because a good trader needs to understand what Bitcoin is doing first, because you don't just invest blindly. Again, this is investing, this isn't gambling, right? All right, so Bitcoin, quick little heads up here. We got major support level at 57,500, resistance here at about 63,800, and obviously the price is kind of hovering between. So at this point, we are waiting as a trading community for the price to essentially establish itself with stronger support and resistance levels. Not a lot really to rely on so far, except for the fact that 60,900, basically 61,000 is a potential support and resistance zone, but we don't know much outside of that just yet, based on the fact that the one-day candlestick's kind of just hovering around plus or minus 1,000. But still, very good shape for Bitcoin. Just be mindful that Mondays are likely sell-off days for the whales based on the fact that they come back and collect their profit from the weekend, and the price will come back down. If it will and does, 57.5 is a strong support. All right, so taking a look here at Fantom. This is the one-day chart. Typically, we like to draw support and resistance levels first, but just quickly rewind here, you can see Fantom's done quite a lot over the years. Obviously, not a tremendous amount back here. Well, actually a lot, but it looks like nothing compared to where it's at. However, regardless of that fact, we want to focus on what's going to happen moving forward, right? So in order to predict the future, you need to look at the past, and the most recent past here shows that we got a pretty strong resistance level right at about $2.33. Now, oftentimes when we see these resistance levels like this, it's likely lining up very closely with Fibonacci. So we could probably take a look at that here and just kind of see what that looks like. Again, we find the lowest point and go all the way up to the most recent high, and we'll see. So obviously it does kind of match up very close. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart and see. We can kind of see, yep, every resistance level is essentially noted by the Fibonacci. So just keep in mind here, if we do lose this resistance here, or just say the price keeps retracing, we do have a support level right at about $2.24. And then secondary to that, most recent, $2.14. Okay. So that is essentially what we're looking at for the support and resistance zones. Now, big picture here, taking a look at the back at the one-day chart, we can see the price is under 70, above 50 on the RSI. That's fantastic. We love to see that. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with it breaking above 70, but I do like it to be under 70 while it's consolidating, and then of course break above once it's down. And we could have that point right now, right? Because we can see the last two days in a row, we've had a decent increase. We've got about 23% overall in the past 2 trading days, and we didn't even get a divergence on the MACD here. We've actually got a bounce, which is even better. So it really just reaffirms the fact that the bulls are still in control and it wants to kind of continue to the upside. We've also got kind of this ascending pattern too, which essentially just means that we should experience a breakout in the fairly near future. That's typically what it forecasts, but usually what it means. Now moving on to the 4-hour chart here, we look at the 4-hour, we can see with the moving averages, the price is above the 50. That's fantastic. We like to see when the 50 is below the price, essentially keeping the price action up higher, and the 200 is trailing behind, of course. That's pretty standard. But the bottom line, you can see how strong the support level here is. The 50 essentially keeps the price action higher. So the next time it tries to bounce, it could continue upwards. But the bottom line here, I like the fact that the price is kind of just slowly taking these nice staircase steps up, so to speak, concurrent with Fibonacci, and that's a really big sign. Okay, so again, kind of just doing one of these here, almost stepping up every single leg up perfectly. So for lack of better terms, once we break this resistance level, we'll be likely making new higher highs and new higher lows, and we're looking pretty good. In fact, let's go ahead and pull this up one more time and get a quick understanding of roughly where the next line might be. And look at that. Next line of Fibonacci is right there at about 246. That's where the resistance was back here as well. So why don't we go ahead and mark that also, just so we know, because 246 is very, very close to the next major resistance level if we were to break. So we'll probably see a leg up and it come up and test 246 again. All right. Looking at the 1-hour chart, let's take a quick look at Ishimoku Cloud. Obviously, we're going to be above, but I'd like to kind of identify the fact that on a healthy bull run like this, where we have that nice staircase pattern, if the price were to retrace and come back down, just say, for example, it comes down here and breaks that resistance, we do have the support level of the Fibonacci correction of the Ishimoku Cloud working as a resistance or correction of support. it is going to resist the price upwards. Oftentimes that happens, when the price does carry into the cloud, it can either travel into the cloud and come below, of course, but more often than not, on a nice bull run, you'll see if the price consolidates and goes sideways, it'll bounce off that support level created by the Ichimoku cloud. Also, if you're new to the channel, just got to throw this out there, I get this question a lot. Just disable the first 5 indicators on the Ichimoku cloud to be able to get, see what I see, just based on the simple fact that the plots background is the most effective way to use it, at least the most basic effective form. Those other spans are awesome, by the way. They serve a purpose, but for the sake of this illustration, just use that, and that's probably the best way to go. Another thing we want to look at here is TD sequential. I think we're getting close to a reset. Yeah, so here's kind of where we're at now. With TD sequential, it basically takes a series of numbers. It's a time to mark sequential. It takes every candlestick prior, every candlestick prior, and basically counts up to 9. Once you get to 9, it'll reset and typically retrace. And what that basically just means is that, when you get 9 hours of continuation, either to the upside or downside, that is a state of exhaustion, because most bull runs, most healthy runs, will last a good 9 to 12 hours, and then they'll consolidate, right? That's why we're seeing this here. We got this up over pattern. That's essentially a shorter, more abbreviated version of that. This is actually much better. I like to see it come up to a 6 and reset and keep coming down. Like, that's awesome. So for lack of better terms, we should expect another, just say 3 to 4 hours of consolidation, possibly even retrace to bounce off the support level 224 and then continue back to the upside. This has the right indicators right now to be able to do that, and I think it's a strong likelihood we'll see that. So just keep that in mind. Now, to kind of summarize here, of course, with the prediction, obviously we don't have any past data to really see where it's going to continue upwards based on that, right? So for lack of better terms, you're pretty much guessing where it's going to be here in the near future. However, the great thing is we do have a tool to help with that. We've already identified that. So we take it from the most recent low to the most recent high. So I would speculate in this run, this next little, because it'll look like this. The pattern will eventually come to fruition and look a lot like this. We're going to see the price probably continue upwards to, at the most, I would say about 312. Sorry, 310. So 310 is the likelihood of the height of this next run. Okay. Now, again, just kind of throwing it out there, but this isn't foolproof. But just say this continues on to come out like this, and then increases. It'll probably do something like this, right? But again, it's going to honor the resistance zones created by Fibonacci, and we need to make sure to respect that, because really you can't do much except for guess when it comes to a the price coming up from here, except for relying on those tools. And we can already see, and we've identified these major support and resistance zones created by Fibonacci. It's not like it's just a mystery, right? It's a very, very, not exact science, it's an exact science, but it's definitely something that matters, right? So pay attention to that too. So if you're going to draw, Fibonacci retracement yourself, find the most recent low, put it to the most recent high, and essentially that'll help you understand where it's going, the likelihood of it going to, right? So just keep that in mind. But yeah, again, Fantom, I would say by year end, we're going to see $3.10 easy. So that puts us at about, I don't know, half X, so to speak. But there is, again, still a strong chance it can continue past that. That's just the more relevant recent data. If we take the big picture, I'm sure, $4 or $5 is probably a likelihood as well. But don't expect it to go to, $10 or $20 this year, just based on the fact that it's already seen a lot of growth this year, right? So I mean, we look at this year, since August, which isn't that long ago, in the last 2 months, it's gone up, what, how much? Just as a hypothetical, it's gone up 825% in 2 months. Do you think we really have another 1,600 or 2,400% left in the tank? Likely not. No. So just be realistic. You'll still see some gains here. I'm confident of that. I just don't think it's going to be, you're not going to double your investment, at least if you get in right now. So just bear that in mind. So hopefully you found this beneficial. If you do, like and subscribe. Join my Patreon community. Check that out. I have a descriptive video in the link in the description below, of course, to help you understand what that entails. I share all of my trades with my community members, day trades, swing trade, hodl trades, and we all learn and grow together. It's a great experience. I'd be happy to get to know you better. So looking forward to that, of course. If not, that's okay. Hope you have a great rest of your day regardless. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one.